taking a few minutes to speak with us, Senator. Let me just start with what is your message tonight following the President's State of the Union address?
Well, I am very concerned about the direction that the Trump administration is actually going in on health care. You know, Andrea and her family, her beautiful daughter, Louisa, were part of our group in Michigan that was really speaking out when there was the effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act, take away protections for people with pre-existing conditions, or put insurance companies back in charge of how many treatments you can get and other things that relate to your coverage. We were successful in Congress in stopping the effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act, but now the administration is going through the courts. And so they're moving on up through the courts, and it will have the same effect of taking away health care protections. And so I invited Andrea to come in with me to both speak about her beautiful daughter, Louisa, and she joined me in a press conference that we did a little earlier with the Speaker of the House and the leader, Minority Leader of the Senate, and other families. And we just want to make it very clear that whether it's the courts or whether it's through Congress, we will not stand still and be quiet if there's an effort to rip away basic health care for our families.
And Andrea, I know this is a huge honor to be the Senator's guest. What would you like to say tonight? Why is it so important for you to speak out on this particular topic?
It is. You're absolutely right. It is a huge honor. When I was asked the other week to come and attend with Senator Stabenow, it didn't take a moment for me to say yes. It's an incredible opportunity because I understand this situation very, very intently, and it's very personal to me. And my daughter, she's received a lot of life-saving services, and I don't take it for granted. And I do recognize that laws within the Affordable Care Act are helping her and will continue to help her. Her severe congenital heart defect that she has, that's something she'll have for life. And she's already had 3 open heart surgeries. She completed the last surgery just this last July, and it was very successful. But she's going to need long-term specialty care and medications, rather expensive medications, to maintain her her heart and keep it in optimal shape. And it's concerning to think about our country not being able to protect people with complex conditions. And I've gotten to know so many children like my daughter, raising her. It's something you don't really anticipate you'll be doing when you decide to have a child. But there's so many adults, but there's children like my daughter who were just born with pre-existing conditions. And I just never want to see a situation where people like my child are denied coverage based on their condition and discriminated against. It's very personal.
And it is so important to, absolutely, and it's so important to hear your story. Senator, it's been a very tumultuous time over the past few weeks in Washington, just a day ahead of this impeachment vote. What are your thoughts on sort of the state of affairs in Washington right now with everything that's been going on?
Well, it is a very divisive time, and certainly we've been put into a position to have to address a real basic question about whether or not a president of the United States is above the law. And so that process is moving forward. It's also critical, though, that we be able to come together on the things that are basic for our families. And I think there's nothing more personal than healthcare, which is why tonight I wanted to focus through the State of the Union and the guests that I invited on healthcare. We have to be able to come together and work on the things that make a real difference to everybody. Healthcare is not political, it's personal to each one of us. And so I continue to focus on those things that really make a difference to all of us in Michigan.
And finally, Senator, how do you feel about Governor Whitmer delivering the rebuttal?
I'm so excited that Governor Whitmer will be giving the response this evening. She's going to be doing it from Michigan, which is also perfect to be talking about what we in Michigan care about and how to move forward on jobs and protecting our Great Lakes and health care and education and all of the other things that we care about. So I'm very proud that Michigan's being showcased this evening.